Hello, everyone. Welcome back for our fifth live session in the Get Organized online ESL Teacher Challenge. I am Megan from Florentis Learning, and I'm really happy to have you here today. For those of you who are looking for the link, who are in the challenge, I forgot to put it on your challenge dashboard, so hopefully you'll find it here on YouTube. And I will update the link in your dashboard so that you have your access to your replay easily and everything at your fingertips right after the session. So today we are talking about turning assessment results into a parent-ready learning roadmap. And for those of you who have been following along throughout the challenge, you'll remember that in the first session, we gathered all of our data together, and we then added students to the Teacher Hub. We figured out how to add our general notes, how to add our students, and how to assign a level so that we could get that handy dandy start next lesson button to appear. And then last week we looked at adding them to our Today tab so that you could have a button simply to click and see that filtered view of your lessons that were just for that day when you opened your dashboard. And we also looked at learning assessments and doing placement assessments to determine what level our student was at. So today we're going to take those assessment results from the free placement tools that are available from Florentis Learning, and we are going to turn those into ready-to-use parent reports that we can easily download and share with our parents. So with that, I am going to share my screen, and we will go through just a couple of slides, and then I'm going to go into a live demo just like we have before. For those of you who are joining us, please drop a note in the comments. Let me know that you're here so that I know who's here, and I can certainly help address any comments. And if you have any questions as we're going, don't hesitate to stop me, ask questions, and I'm happy to help. And then for those of you who are in the challenge, don't forget that you can reach out to me. We can set up a Skype time, or you can join us on our co-working session as well. So with that, let's take a look at the slides for today. So as I said, today we are looking at turning assessment results into a parent-ready learning roadmap. And so the missing piece of everything now after confirming the level is, how do I communicate this information to parents? And this challenge has been all about getting your paperwork in order and making sure that your communication is clear and professional and easy for parents. And so we're going to solve this by creating our learning roadmaps, or with the learning plan generator. And so the generator builds something that's already structured for you. It has strengths and growth goals and next steps, and then it pulls in your comment from your assessment. You don't have to write anything from scratch. You can customize it to your needs, but it's nice and quick and easy. So let's take a look at our demo. We're going to use the assessment results from the other day for our fake student Anaconda. And we're going to choose some goals and challenges. We can still adjust it. And I'm going to show you how to get your printable report that you can then send to parents as a PDF. So for new parents, I do usually send this as a PDF. I find that I also send the link to the parent report, because parents can certainly access it and review it here. But I also find that parents really appreciate receiving the PDF. And so with that, I am going to just log into my Teacher Hub, and I'm going to switch tabs here so that we can see this. So just bear with me for a second. All right, and so I'm going to share the Teacher Hub instead. Here we go. All right, and you'll remember that last week we set up our bookings so that Anaconda would have a lesson on Mondays at 1:30 p.m. So it aligns, or 12:30 Eastern. It aligns nicely with this. So you'll see what happens when I log in on my Today tab. I've got this lesson set up for Anaconda. Now let's go into Anna. Now we can get there from our Today tab because she does happen to be here by simply clicking on her name. We can also go to the Students tab and we can find Anaconda. Remember, these are all fake students. They don't actually exist. And so these are simply for demo purposes. This information is made up. But obviously when you're working in your system, you are going to use the real ones. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you so that you can see it more easily. And so from the Students tab, I am going to just click on Anaconda to go to her student profile. On her student profile, I am going to scroll down and I'm going to find that placement assessment that we created the other day. And you'll notice that there is a Create Plan button. So I'm going to click that. Now, normally you would do this sort of as one step. You'd create your assessment, and at the bottom, there is a button that you can click to create a learning plan right now. So for Anna, I am going to recommend 3 classes a week. So you can adjust it right here. And I usually teach 25-minute classes. So I'm just going to change that, but you've got all sorts of options here. And if one of these class durations doesn't work for you, by all means, reach out and I can add additional little tags there for you. The first thing that you need to then choose is strengths. And what you will notice is the placement assessment identified that Anna was about an A1 SEFR level. And so the strengths and the areas for improvement are actually linked to that level and to that placement result. And so I'm going to just choose a couple. You don't want to overwhelm parents. So from the placement assessment, I'm going to say that she can handle everyday expressions on familiar topics, and maybe she uses basic time words today, yesterday, and tomorrow with support. I'm then going to choose a couple of areas for improvement. And so I want to, with Anna, I want to introduce extending sentence length about routines and preferences. And I want to encourage her to ask simple follow-up questions. And maybe I'm going to put a third one here. I'm going to begin to use present and future time with support. And so in this case, I want to really give some thought when I'm choosing the areas of improvement to what the parent has told me their goals are. So if their goal for their child is improving writing, I'm going to look for things that are more writing related on this list. If their goal is more speaking related, then I'm going to look for things that are more speaking related on this list. And so I do try and do that. Now, the other thing is that I can customize this. So maybe instead of just routines, I want to talk about daily activities and likes and dislikes. Very, very similar to what it was, but just a little bit more plain language for my particular parent. You'll notice here that we already have a comment, and this one actually was from the placement assessment result when we created that. We then have some short-term goals. These again are tied to the SEFR level, and it does give you a tip here. Just choose a couple. So short-term goals, 2 to 3 bullets. So because we're focused on speaking, and these are now very much ranged that way, I'm going to choose them from my speaking, and I'm going to tie them very closely to my areas for improvement. So my short-term goal, talk about daily routines and ask 3 basic questions to keep a conversation going. Then I have my A2 goal here. It gives a suggested one, and you can use that or you can change it, whichever you like. And I do want to share the learning plan on the Parent Hub. And then this is where I get to choose my curriculum. And so if you're using the Florentis Learning Curriculum, then you will already have a good idea sort of based on that where to place this student. And so A1, I'm going to choose level 3. It will have told you at the end of your placement assessment what unit to start in, all of those things. So I'm going to choose level 3. And if I was using speaking curriculum as well, I could maybe add on. I want to also use the beginner speaking curriculum. So I'm going to use both of those. The beginner and elementary speaking curriculum, you can sort of use beginner with level 2, 3, and you can use elementary there as well with sort of the similar lessons. It just sort of depends what topics your student is familiar with and what topics they need to work on. I do see that I need to make some updates to this because I have released the first section of the elementary writing curriculum, and we've also just last week or the week before released our second level of our phonics curriculum, which is phonics adventures with an outer space themed topic. So I will make adjustments just so those are available and you can click on them. And then I'm just going to save my learning plan. And so that's all there is to it. So it took just a couple of seconds for me to create that learning plan. And I'm just going to let it save. And then I will show you how to get a printable version. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat for me. And if you are here and watching, let me know. If you're catching the replay, again, you can still put your questions in the chat. I will come back to them and find them for you. So within this now, it took me back to her student profile. And if I just scroll down a bit, you'll notice I now have a learning plan on file. I have a button to view the plan, to edit the plan, or to print the plan. In this case, I'm going to go to the print view. You can go to the view plan and then to print, but this is just faster. It will allow me to do it sort of with one step. And I'm just letting that load, and I'm going to switch tabs because it does open in a new tab. So I am going to share this tab. I think it's switching. Let me just check that it has actually switched for everyone. So yes, so you'll see this is Anaconda's learning plan now. And you'll notice that the information has all disappeared. So we still have fake information like the test email and test link and all of those things. But we have a learning plan for Anaconda, English Development Roadmap. It's 8 to 12 weeks. And then we have the teacher summary. These are generated just based on the levels and SEPHR levels. And then we've got our learning commitment, 3 classes a week, 25 minutes. These are the things that we selected, and this was our recommendation. The one thing that I didn't populate was the next steps, and I do usually recommend that we populate it, even with something like, book your lessons on on your booking website, or something the parents can do at home, all of those things. So this is, and it does put your date that the learning plan was prepared and everything at the bottom. So this is a nice printable document. I can just print this to a PDF and send it to my parents that I am working with. So that was our live demo for today. Let me switch back to our presentation. And all right, so there we go. So we looked at how to use the assessment results to pull in that confirmed student evidence. And then we chose goals and challenges with short and long-term goals. We, of course, can customize our teacher comments, and then we generated the PDF, which we can send to parents. So instead of writing and rewriting the same sort of learning growth plans, this really does speed things up for you. With the generator, you can create things in minutes, and it builds your strengths, your improvement areas, your short, your long-term goals, your next steps and recommendations, and your teacher comments. The other thing is that this is going to absolutely set you apart, giving the parent a really nice professional report. And you are going to impress parents with this. I know the comments that I've received from parents when I've sent it have been like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting this. Oh, it's so professional. So those are the types of comments that you will receive. You can use this roadmap also as a renewal conversation. So if you have finished a set of lessons and you're doing another one, you might not necessarily do another placement assessment. However, you certainly can, just to see some improvement. And we are working on some additional progress tools that hopefully will come out soon. But you can go in, create a new learning plan for sort of that next 8 to 12 week block. And you can use the one that you had before and say, you know what, we've improved on this, we've improved on this. These are the things that we're going to work on. And this does help to simplify that renewal conversation. The other thing is that if you only did your initial conversation or your initial package, maybe for a month or 6 weeks, this allows you, because you had built your roadmap for an 8 to 12 week period, to sort of reflect back on that and say, oh, we want to continue to reach those goals. And this does help to build parent trust. It's super easy to share. You can share the link or you can share your PDF. And so when we sort of look at sort of that rule for today, every assessed student gets a roadmap. And so we're going to assess to confirm our students' level with clear baseline evidence. We're going to generate a roadmap using the learning plan generator. And then we're going to share that with the parents every time for every student. And this turns your teaching from lesson delivery into that guided transformation where parents can see the plan, they can see what's going to happen, and then they can see the results. So before our co-working session this week, I would encourage you to go in and try and create a roadmap for one of your students. And if you have a student that you can send it to, by all means, send it to a student and send it to the parent so that they can see what you're going to work on, and bring your comments and let us know how it goes. With that is today's chunk. So today's chunk, we've been keeping these nice and small, easy, manageable. And so hopefully everyone is finding that fairly straightforward and easy to do, just breaking it into pieces. So today's chunk is just create a learning plan for one of your students. So come back on Wednesday for our last live session. Wednesday, we're going to look at some of the fun things in there, things like our learning roadmap on our student profiles or learning tracks and how to activate those, and certificates for students that are fun and help to motivate students as well. And so just some of the additional pieces that can really help to sort of add that extra piece to your back office. If you are looking for something else or need something else and you're like, oh, I really need this, or how do I do this? By all means, reach out. I'm always looking for ideas and ways to improve the Teacher Hub and really to give the tools that teachers need to help them organize their teaching and really make it your time able to be focused on your teaching, and then to walk away from your computer when you're done teaching. So, or spend more time on marketing or other things that will help you build your business. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. And I will dump the replay into the challenge dashboard, and I will put the link for Wednesday's session there right now so that everyone can find it. And I will see you all on Wednesday. By all means, reach out anytime. Have a fantastic day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us with Florentis Learning.